Hey there, everyone. So I just wanted to do a quick video on basically where to start. So I know it has come to my attention that not everyone sets goals really well. I know, like myself, I always have so many things like that I'd like to reach for, I'd like to attain. I can name you 10, 20 background goals that I'm ready to move on to. Oh, if I do this goal, I got another one set up. Like there's kind of always more things I'd like to try or attain or whatever it is. I'm pretty open with my goal setting. I have no issues setting goals, and I guess to be blunt about it, I have no issues wanting things. I want lots of things. But it's funny because I've come to learn my boyfriend does not set goals well. You ask him, well, what do you want? And he doesn't really know. He doesn't know what that bigger thing is. He's pretty content. And maybe that's just also being a guy where you're just kind of content with a lot of what you have. Guys tend to need/want less things than women anyways. Who knows why that is? I think because they're just a little more relaxed than we are, generically speaking. But yeah, whatever, male, female, whoever you are, doesn't even matter. Just the fact that there are people out there that are not very good at knowing what they want or which thing to go for first or things like that. So I just want to do this quick video and give hopefully a little help on what you can do if you're feeling stuck. The number one thing I love visualizing. I'm the person, like, even when I read books, I'm playing out the movie in my head. I've got all the characters visualized. So I love visualizing. So I would say take a minute, go somewhere nice and quiet, even if you have to go to your car. Even better if you have some essential oils or something like relaxing, you can kind of have a nice peaceful mood set for yourself. And just take a minute in the quiet, clear your thoughts, and think, what do I really love to have? What would I love to have? Like, what's my ideal day? What is something, and it might be as simple as, you can say, like, what is something I'd really love to be able to have or do? And something might pop in right away. You might be like, okay, what is something I would just love to have every day? And again, for me, these things are quite easy. But maybe you even have to take it that step further where it's like, okay, what is an ideal day for me? And I would recommend doing a work day as well as a non-work day, just to see what comes up for you. So I know for myself, when I first started, my first goal was not working past a certain time, having a half an hour. It was actually having a half an hour minimum of time to put my feet up before I went to bed, having downtime, because I just didn't prioritize it. I didn't have it. It was terrible. And when I just sat down and I'm just like, oh my God, I just wish I could relax in the evenings. I remember just saying this to myself. So I actually didn't have to visualize or anything. I just kind of plopped down again one time and I'm just like, I just want to put my feet up. And then I'm like, I just want to put my feet up. And I'm like, yep, bang, got it. I just want to put my feet up. So you can even think back, what is something that you think to yourself often or you say out loud, I just want, or I just wish, right? And these are usually things we want fairly instantly, like we want them right away. That's why they're front of our mind. That's why we're thinking it. So again, if that's you, awesome, write that down. And then we'll find a way to make it happen, right? But otherwise, you want to visualize, that work day. What does my ideal work day look like? Ideal. And what does the morning look like? You're off to work. What does work look like? You're coming home. Like, literally visualize it all. If you're not good at visualizing, write it down. Write yourself a story. Make yourself the main character and write it down. I wake up, I do this. This is my ideal day. Like, if I could have my day look like anything, this is what I want it to be. Whether you work out in the morning before you go to work, whether you, have dinners in the crock pot waiting when you get home, you have family time, or like whatever it looks like. Maybe you have time to go to the gym after work. Whatever that looks like, just something that inspires you, that you're like, yes, this is what I wish I could do in a day. And then same thing for the weekend. This is an ideal, Saturday for me. Visualize it or write it down, whatever. And then when you go back over it, there's usually one or two things that really draw you, like, oh yeah, I really wish I could do that. And that's what you need to like hang on to and be like, oh, yep, that's my goal. I'm going to make that my goal. I'm going to work towards that. And write it down, because this is the other thing, when you get stuck and you get flustered, the creative side is obviously not flowing as well. So when you do finally find that goal, do not assume you're going to remember it. I have done this so many times. How many times do we do that, right? Like we put something in a safe place, or I don't have to write that down, I'll remember. And we almost never do. The thing in the safe place is lost for years. If we ever find it again, like just write it down and make sure, or if you've written your ideal day, you can highlight that one piece, write it on a separate paper, whatever it is, and pull it out that way. Right. And this is something too, like if you've gone past and you've done, you've attained a few goals, you've done a lot of growth, you've really, you're down your path quite well. That's great. This is also another really good reason to revisualize or rewrite down, what is your ideal workday? What is your ideal weekend, right? Because you've made it, such amount of growth, you've made your way down the path, whatever it might be, that might have changed for you a bit. As we grow, as we, learn to kind of get rid of that negative, and we really reprioritize things in our life and make different choices as we grow as people. We also sometimes, what was important to our old self is not necessarily as important to our new self, like vice versa, right? I know for my old self, I didn't prioritize self-care because I just assumed I never had time for it. I knew it was important, but it obviously wasn't a priority because I never used to do it. But new me, I would never give up my self-care ever, because I need to be at my best. Because if I'm at my best, I can give all of you my best. My clients deserve my best work, and my best work happens when I'm at my best. Like if I came to a meeting with you and I'm all tired and I'm yawning and I can barely hear you, and you don't want to work with me. But if I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, and you ask me, and I'm like, well, life is great. Life is always great. Like, you want to work with me. You're picking up my positive energy, my, hey, I'm alive and awake. And right. So it's that, and then so for that, it's where our priorities can change along our journey, what we realize is more important. Like, and I've seen this a ton with clients over, years and years, even as a massage therapist, where people start out and they get really fixated on keeping up with neighbors and buying what neighbors have and having things. And it's like this phase of things become a priority. Maybe the kids grow up a bit, or maybe they actually start having kids and you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe things aren't quite as important. Maybe this family thing, like it's just as our life grows and as we grow as people, priorities can change. And so it's always good to revisit, what's our ideal day? Work day, non-work day, and really, okay, good. Let's pick one and implement. And I will also suggest, even when you pick out that one, pick out an extra couple from that ideal day that you would like to work on afterwards. Because then you're all set. You've got it all ready to go in, a couple of weeks. I'll say 21 days takes to form a habit. In 3 weeks, when you've got that first one under control, you're feeling good, you're owning it, like, okay, I can do this. This is awesome. You can go to number 2 that you've already written down, and you don't have to worry about like, okay, what's going to be the next one? You've already got it, and it's great. And then by the time you want to come back to the 4th, 5th, or whatever, however many you pulled out when you've done that list, it's probably time to revisit your ideal day anyways, because maybe you've made enough growth that maybe it's not the same. Maybe you reread it or visualize it and it is, and that's awesome. Then just pull out some more, because obviously, there's almost always more to do. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I'm a visualized person. So I always love visualizing, but I understand that some people don't know how, they've never visualized before, they're not that sort of person. That's why there's always writing it down. Put yourself as that main character, write your story, kind of pull back a bit and just read it as if you're reading a story, and pull out like, oh yeah, I really wish I could do that. If it twangs, gives you a little twang, you know that that's a goal, and you need to write down, I'd love to do that, right? And then yeah, and remember, when you're figuring out how to implement this new goal, don't worry about how you can't do it. Those negative things are always going to be there, and there's always reasons to not, but there's always reasons to do it. So we can think, we acknowledge. It's kind of like I think in one of Bob Proctor's videos, he puts something like somebody tells him something and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, that does not serve me. That's a negative thing. That is only going to bring us down. Like, it was something like terrible happening in the world. He's like, okay, that doesn't help me. That doesn't serve me in any positive way. It might be true and that's fine, but we're not going to concern ourselves with it right now because we can't affect the change of it. So we're just going to move on to something else that does serve us and can help us grow. So it's kind of like, you need to acknowledge the negative. Oh, well, you can't or you shouldn't because, okay, fair enough. I hear you, but we're choosing not to believe that, or we're going to put that aside. And that's just, okay, I acknowledge that thought. Thank you so much. What do we got over here? Why should we? Why can we? How can we? And figure it out, because there's always a way, always. That was another beautiful thing, actually, Bob said, with the balance in life, because everything in life has a balance. And that was something I really, really like that he said was, if there's a problem, there is always a solution, because otherwise there is no problem if there's not a solution for it, right? So how are you have this goal you need to reach. The problem is, how are you going to reach it? There is a solution. You just need to allow yourself to calm down for a minute, allow the creative side to kick in, think about, and don't be frustrated. Don't, oh, how am I gonna, oh, I just need to know. It's just cool, calm, collected, very if you get into the nerdy side, like the from oh my goodness, what was that show? Sheldon. I can't remember that show right now, but Young Sheldon was the prequel sequel of it. And or like the data from Star Trek or whatever, just like really put yourself in a super logical, okay, we're kind of putting emotions aside, we're just cool, calm cucumbers, brainstorming, how can we possibly do this? And even if you need to journal and you just start writing and writing and writing, engaging that creativity, and eventually something flows out and you will get a solution, because there always is one. I've been doing this a very long time in my own life, for sure. There is always a solution, I promise. It's just allowing yourself to get there. When you're feeling flustered, when you're feeling all this stuff, all this chaos and everything's going crazy, you cannot think in that. You need to let it go, put yourself into a calm space. That's square breathing, deep breathe. And I always love cool, calm, white light in, negative, black, gross out, and blow it away, like way out of your house, out of your property, like blow it out. Few deep breaths, calm yourself. All right, how are we going to make this happen? All right, I hope that helps. You know what I always forget to do in these videos, to tell you guys, if you are loving my stuff, if this is helpful for you, I actually have a couple communities. I have a Facebook group. It is $9.97 Canadian. So if you're American, and especially if you're European, very cheap. So just under 10 Canadian dollars a month for my Facebook group, where I do weekly supports, and I give a lot more help if you're that person that thinks, you know, I need to do something. I'm not ready for any crazy programs yet, but I'd like some support. I do have an option for you. If you're not a Facebook person, I have a community I actually just created. I'm so excited. It's pretty much the same thing. It's a community hub. It's not Facebook. It's just like completely, you know, you log in, it's a portal, a community hub for people, just to gather a support group, and you'll be able to pop on and come to those weekly chats. And I'll be posting tips and all the things in there also. So yeah, I'll put that link in the description for this video. And then, of course, I do also, if you want to work with me, I got options for that too. So yeah, I hope you love Ebb, but most importantly, forget this, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, and if you find these helpful and you know someone else can benefit, please pass along the link to the video. And yeah, I think just subscribe, keep following, let people know if it helps you. Then hopefully, share the knowledge. If it's helped you, help other people, share it. That's literally why I'm here. We do not have to live in the overwhelm. It is not necessary. Yeah. All right, guys, I will talk to you later.